Hey, darlings. So, today we're going to talk about something that really, really triggers me, and it's shaving, or actually, women who don't shave. About 2 years ago, I was in a workshop, like a spiritual workshop, and we're going into the meditation. We're lying down, and at one point, I can feel someone's leg touching mine, and it was extremely hairy. And I was thinking, like, I don't recall any man being next to me for this exercise. So anyway, the exercise ends. I open my eyes and I see that there's a woman next to me, and I look at her calves, and they're so extremely hairy. Like, I'm talking about someone who has never ever shaved before. Like, think of men's calves. These were her calves, and I got so triggered. Like, basically, my initial reaction was like, not touch her, and I was like literally grossed out by that. Um, and yeah, it was a huge trigger, and it wasn't the first time. Last year I went for ecstatic dance, and there was this woman dancing in really tiny shorts, and you could see all of her pubic hair, sticking out. And again, I was so triggered, and so. I know better now than just thinking, oh my God, she's so not feminine. She's, not a true woman because she doesn't shave. So it's like, okay, I'm being really, really triggered by this. Let's look into it because there is a reason. Like, if anytime you have a very strong emotional reaction, there is a reason for that. So I was like, okay, let's try to calm down my, reaction to that and actually look into the issue. So first of all, I went and I talked to men and women, like, how do you feel about shaving or not shaving? So I want to share with you some of the things that they told me. And also, I want to share with you how actually looking into this, if you feel, for example, triggered by that, how that can be a great gateway into looking at yourself and your own mindset and your own mental programming to actually help you release a lot of limiting conditioning. So let's start by what did women say when I asked them about shaving. So the huge majority of women do shave, and they want to shave. They don't feel comfortable, and they don't actually like the feeling of being unshaved. But of course, the issue that came up is time, and you can probably relate. It's not as easy to always have time to shave. So most of women said that yes, I want to be shaved, but I try to do it as much as I can. So there will be moments when my legs will not be perfectly smooth because I don't have time. There's also many, 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 many women who just shave their calves. They don't shave their thighs at all. So women seem to be quite easy on this one. Like we don't really seem to be extremely strict that it has to be perfect. But there are also some women I spoke to who absolutely don't care whether they have hair or not. And I even met a few women for whom it was such an important standpoint, like this is how I look at life. These are my beliefs, so I'm not gonna shave. This idea of liberation: don't tell me what to do. I am a woman, whether I am shaved or not. And there was a very interesting woman that I spoke to, and I was saying from my perspective that if I touch my skin, like my leg, and it's not shaved, it just feels gross. And she told me that, frankly, if I touch my leg and it's smooth and shaved, it feels gross to me. And that's what really opened my eyes to the idea that this is really subjective. And we'll go with that thought in just a minute. First, I want to share with you what men say about shaving and non shaving. So, the majority of men do prefer women who are shaved, but again, they don't obsess about it. So, pretty much all of the men said that they don't have to be perfectly shaved. There can be some hair. If it's smooth, if it's not very rough, then it's absolutely fine. They did say that they're quite big on the bikini because just logistically during lovemaking, literally what they said is that they don't want the hair to get stuck in their teeth. Um, and yeah, quite a lot of men preferred fully shaved bikini, but also when you start talking to them, really at the core was just like trim it, because it's easier. Logistically, it's just difficult to go through all of the hair. So this is what men and women think about the issue. So now let's go back to this idea that for some women, actually touching their skin that's smooth feels gross. So like I said, I was aware that, okay, I'm getting super triggered by the topic. There must be something there. And I would ask you, how do you feel about it? Like, do you have this idea that you have to be shaved to feel feminine or to be attractive? For me, for example, if I am with a man and I would love to go further, but I am not shaved, I'm gonna stop myself. Like, I don't feel confident enough to, get naked, undress, and have sex if I am not shaved. Um, so for me, actually, that's an insight of what I consider to be feminine. Like, what is my definition of being a woman? And this definition comes mostly from our childhood, what we observed, what were some of the examples we got from other women, or, what did our father told us. And for me, for example, my dad would always tell me that a true woman is very subtle, very soft. Like my dad is totally in love with the Asian woman, like a geisha, who was just like very, very soft and very obedient. And so that's my idea about what it means to be a woman. So there isn't much space in me for this wildness, for a woman who doesn't shave. But the truth is that we all have all of these different archetypes in us. So, the feminine energy can be very soft, can be very loving, can be very nurturing, can be very subtle and soft, and can be very obedient. But it can also be very angry. It can be destructive. It can be wild. And, by observing just how much I've been triggered by women who don't shave, that actually allowed me to realize that there is this wildness in me, like my feminine is also expressed in the form of wildness that I am not actually owning. That I suppressed it as something bad because I was conditioned by my father that that's not how a woman should be. And so through this huge drama around unshaved calves, I actually got to look at myself and really be honest with myself, hey, maybe my definition of womanhood and being feminine is limited to just one archetype. And, I started working with that, and I will proudly say that I'm not as triggered as I used to be. As in, it's still my choice to shave, but if I see a woman who doesn't shave, I also understand that this is her choice. So she's embracing the feminine in another way. So I'm curious, what's your experience? So for all the women watching, let me know, do you shave, do you not shave, and how do you feel about it? Like is it like for me that you have to be shaved to feel comfortable, or are you perfectly fine if you don't? And for men, what are your thoughts? So let's start the conversation. And also, especially for those of you who are triggered, like me, what do you think is the reason? Why do you think it's so triggered by, seeing a woman or being with a woman who is not shaved? Like I said, I shared my own experience with that. That's just one of the reasons. So you don't have to, feel the same way as I do and still be triggered. In fact, I spoke to one man who is very triggered by women who do not shave because he feels that, I go to the gym, I work out, I am taking care of myself. So then when I see a woman who doesn't shave at all, it's like, oh, she's not going to make any effort for me. So he doesn't feel appreciated enough. And it makes him not want to engage intimately with this woman. So, again, there's so many different amazing stories that we have behind, moments and things that trigger us. So I'm curious, what is your story? So please share it below under this video. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel where I share more and more things like this. And check out all the description below if you want to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and jump on my newsletter to know a bit more, and also some private things that I share in some of my private groups. So all of this is for you. Just check the description below. And many, many kisses. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.